John Harrell, standing out in front of City Hall. I'm down here for another reason, but I just got finished talking to a Channel 3 News person who gave me the great news about the federal judge who smacked down Trump's assertion that he could withhold funds from Sanctuary City, and that's a great news, and I filmed that, and that's another video. But what I want to talk about is Covenant House. Covenant House is a shelter for homeless young people, and we often use Covenant House for our homeless youth in our neighborhood who have nowhere to go. I've been fighting all day with Covenant House because they have a archaic rule called a sanctuary rule, where after lights out, no other resident can sit on the bed of a fellow resident. Now this rule is obviously designed to stop sexual activity or anything that might go on after hours. But for my client, what happened was she's in a room with a roommate who was in distress and wanted to call her mother. Her phone was on 7% plugged into the wall, so she let her roommate sit on her bed to make a phone call. A staff went by, saw them sitting side by side on the bed. Girl was sitting on the bed, she was lying down, and she wrote her up. And this morning, that happened last night, and this morning they both were discharged from Covenant House. So what that means is two young women who were in a homeless shelter were discharged from the homeless shelter because they were sitting on a bed having a conversation, and one of them was using the phone. So as a social worker, when I called the Covenant House and I questioned this rule and the validity of it, I got nowhere. I then called the office of Rosita Youngblood, and her staff was very attentive to our story, and they called a Covenant House and also got no good response. I had to literally call their national office in New York, talk to the director of their child services before anything was done, and my client was still not allowed to be there. She's allowed to go back tomorrow, and the reason I was downtown is we were putting her in another shelter to spend the night. My point is this: there are many nonprofits, among them Covenant House, who do good work in the city, but there's no oversight of them. And when they do things that are wrong, such as discharging two women out on the street for a minor infraction, and one of the females is now in the hospital because she had suicidal ideations, what happens is, where is the oversight? Where is the state representative or the city council or the congressperson or the mayor's office to say this is wrong? You need to use common sense. And if there's a minor infraction of the rules, you need to deal with that, but you don't put young people out on the street. One of the things we do at the Center for Returning Citizens in our kids program is work with our young people so they are safe. So they are safe, so they are cared for. I will continue to try to work with Covenant House because they have housing for our young people when they are in need. But there needs to be oversight. Rosita Youngblood's office needs to do a walkthrough through Covenant House. Cindy Bass's office, it's in your councilmatic district, needs to do a walkthrough through Covenant House. The mayor's office needs to do a walkthrough. Look at their rules. Look at how they're treating people. The Center for Returning Citizens advocates for all of its clients, all of those who are in our care. We also need the public to realize what goes on in homeless shelters, not just for young people, but for women and children and for men. The plight of homeless people in the city of Philadelphia is a disgrace. Our mayor is getting ready to spend $90 million on a water park over 95. I would like to see $90 million spent on renovating housing so we don't have young people, women and children, and men in homeless shelters all over the city. This is John Harrell, TCRC Philly. Peace, power, and respect.